SpaceX just announced a record-breaking IPO that could reshape the entire market tomorrow, and the chip stocks are already sending a signal about what's coming. If you own tech, this is the move you need to understand right now. Let's find out what it means for your portfolio. Let us start with the indices. So the Nasdaq had a nice Friday for us, up 0.31% today, closing at 25,888. For the week, we're up 0.7%, which is solid but not explosive. Here's the thing, chip stocks absolutely crushed it today. We're talking AMD, Qualcomm, and some of the semiconductor equipment makers showing real strength. That tells me investors are feeling confident about tech fundamentals despite some of the broader noise we've been hearing. The Nasdaq's holding up while heading into the weekend. The Dow actually outpaced the Nasdaq today, up 0.7% versus Nasdaq's 0.31%. That's interesting, right? It closed at 51,202. For the week, the Dow is up 0.66%, so we're basically in lockstep with the Nasdaq on the weekly chart. What I'm reading here is that it's not just big tech driving gains. We got some breadth. Industrials, materials, some of the old school names are participating. That's a healthier signal than if we were riding on just a handful of mega-cap tech stocks. Now here are the top movers of the day. Adobe is not having a great time, down 6.76% today to 204.02 a share, and if you look at the week, down 18.86%. Yeah, that's brutal. That's a significant sell-off, and my guess is we're seeing some profit-taking after a run, or maybe some analyst downgrades floating around in the creative software space. When a stock drops that hard in a week, institutions are moving. Something shifted in the narrative around Adobe, and we should find out what the catalyst was. KLAC is on a tear, up 5.55% today at 254.54, and here's where it gets exciting, up 31.94% for the week. That is a monster move. KLAC makes semiconductor manufacturing equipment, so this is telling us that chip makers are planning to invest big. With SpaceX about to come public and potentially pull massive amounts of capital into the private space economy, semiconductor equipment makers could benefit from new demand cycles. This stock is pricing in a coming boom. AMD jumped 4.73% today, sitting at 511.57, and for the week we're up 9.69%. This is solid momentum. AMD's riding the AI wave, sure, but it's also getting a boost from the broader semiconductor enthusiasm we're seeing. The chip equipment strength from KLAC suggests that memory and processing capacity is about to explode in demand. AMD stands to benefit directly from that. Qualcomm is up 4.32% today to 211.72. For the week, though, we're actually down 1.95%, so today's pop is recovery. Qualcomm makes the chips that go into phones and wireless infrastructure, so we're probably seeing some buying back in after a dip. The semiconductor complex is rotating money around, and today Qualcomm got its turn. It's still down for the week, so there might be room to run if the sector momentum can. Freeport-McMoRan is up 3.12% today at 68.41, and for the week we're up 7.95%. So this mining stock is having a solid week. Copper demand concerns might be easing a bit, or maybe investors are positioning ahead of potential infrastructure spending. Mining stocks often lead economic optimism, so Freeport strength could be a signal that traders think the worst of the slowdown talk is priced in. Now let us look at energy and fuel. Oil took a real hit today, down 3.9%, sitting at 84.29 a barrel. For the week, we're down 6.9%. So this isn't just a Friday stumble. The big story here is that markets are pricing in weaker global demand. We're not seeing OPEC cutting production aggressively, and geopolitical risk is taking a back seat to economic reality. When oil drops this much in a week, it usually means traders think the economy might be cooling. Keep an eye on natural gas actually bucked the trend today, up 1.62% to 3.14. But the weekly picture tells a different story, down 2.79% for the week. So this is choppy. We're heading into summer, which means cooling demand should be picking up in some regions, but storage levels and production dynamics are what's really moving the needle here. Not the most exciting commodity right now, honestly, but it's worth watching if demand surprises us. Moving on to metals. Gold is doing what gold does when people get a little nervous, up 3.66% today, sitting at 4,239.90. Now, week to date, we're actually down 2.24%, but a move like today's is significant. That tells me some investors are rotating into safe haven assets. Could be SpaceX news creating some uncertainty about where money flows next. Could be folks just taking profits on risk positions ahead of the weekend. Either way, gold strength is a yellow flag that not everyone's feeling totally comfortable right now. Silver's the real star today, up 6.64%, closing at 68.12. That's a massive move, especially compared to most commodities we've seen. Weekly, we're only down 1.19%, so silver's already bounced back. Here's what's interesting. Silver followed gold higher, but it outperformed it. That could signal some industrial buying creeping back in, maybe folks anticipating demand recovery. When silver outpaces gold like this, it usually means risk appetite starting to return underneath the safe haven float. And finally, let's look at tomorrow. All right, here's what you need to think about heading into Monday. We've got no major economic events flagged for the long weekend, but SpaceX is the elephant in the room. That $75 billion IPO, the prediction that it'll close above $2 trillion market cap on debut, that's going to create some really interesting flows. Money has to come from somewhere. Watch semiconductor stocks closely. They're positioning for a new cycle. Oil's weakness is worth monitoring if it keeps trending down, because that can signal economic slowdown. But right now, the breadth we're seeing across the Dow and Nasdaq, the strength in industrial metals like copper, and the chip equipment enthusiasm suggests markets are still betting on growth. Stay balanced, stay diversified, and remember, big market moves like what we might see with SpaceX create opportunities for patient investors who understand what's actually happening underneath the headlines. For your daily market update video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification.